Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and oh my gosh, I have so many things I want to talk to you about. Normally, I try to get all my ducks in a row and do this in one take, but there's just so many things to talk about. I think, well, let the jump cuts commence, right? Alright, there will be some jump cutting. I can guarantee you that. So yesterday was the dev stream, and first thing I want to show you is look at how cool this animation is. I don't know if this is coming into game or not, but it looks really cool for the Campfire. Check out this animation that they have while you're waiting for the dev stream to start. The Campfire has gotten a lot more crowded. So the only people we're missing is, what, Leatherface, Huntress, and Michael Myers on the killer side there. It's very cool, though. I remember back in the old days, kids, when I had to walk 3 miles to school each way uphill. And the people on the logs would look back and forth like this, and then one day, it just changed. In the pregame. This would be very cool if it's incorporated. I have no idea if this is coming or not. But, yeah, I just love it. I think it looks really great. I think they did a pretty good job so far. Alright, so we're starting out with that. Okay, next. Okay, the next thing I have for you, they talked about in the dev stream this awesome Trapper mask that they debuted at New York City Comic Con, and now that they're back in the dev stream offices in Montreal, they clarified that this is just a prototype and that it isn't ready for sale in the store yet. No idea when that's going to happen. It's just a prototype, and apparently it has like sharp edges that people would hurt themselves on. So it needs to be altered before it can be mass produced and sold to us, which is unfortunate. But you can actually buy these bloodletting shoes at fankicks.com/deadbydaylight. They're $100. These are limited editions. I went to the website and they actually have more styles than just this bloodletting one. They also have these other 4, which are a bit cheaper. They have 2 other Trapper high tops. One's like promo poster for the game with the Trapper, and the other one is a bloodletting, but it's like a white or a gray logo. The red is the only one that's an actual limited edition, which is why it's more money. And then they have these slip-on shoes as well, if that's your thing. So that's at fankicks.com if you're interested in that stuff. And then they talked about some things that they fixed in the game. One of them was part of this Franklin's Demise perk. You remember, this is the perk that when the killer brings it, if they hit you, it makes you drop your item. But not if you're struck by either Leatherface's or the Hillbilly's chainsaw. For those 2 characters, it has to be with the mallet. You also won't lose your item if you're pulled out of a locker, grabbed while vaulting, pulled off a generator, yanked off while trying to unhook somebody. You have to be struck. So what some people were doing, like say you got pulled out of a locker, the killer would hang you up and then hit you with their primary weapon. Hillbilly or Leatherface has to hit you with the mallet to make you drop your item. Chainsaw doesn't work. So what they would do is hang you up and then hit you, and that would make you drop your item at your feet on the hook, which would cause some confusion if you were running up in a hurry to unhook somebody and then it's giving you the option to pick up the item that's at their feet. It kind of messes you up a little bit on what you're trying to do in a hurry. So they said that once somebody is hooked, they can't have the item smacked out of their hands anymore. So that's no longer a concern. They also fixed this one glitch on the Laray's Memorial Institute where when the shutters are going up in the upstairs part of the central room, you can get stuck vaulting through the windows there. Here's a picture of that. This is courtesy of Planet Juke, where he had 2 people get stuck in the cement there, and then they couldn't move. So that was kind of glitchy. That's apparently corrected. And then the other thing that they fixed was getting stuck inside of a hook. Now that's something that happened, like, in my experience, whenever you would get stuck in the hook, it was when you were on, like, a hair's width of health left. Like, if you were hoisted off simultaneously when your health ran out, then it would glitch you into the hook. And I have some video of that from a game that I was in where that happened to somebody, so I'll play that for you really quick so you can see what we're talking about. But when you had that one hair strand of health left and somebody raised up just as it was raised you off the hook, just as it was running out, you would get lifted off, but then you'd fall into the hook and you'd be stuck there. So here's some video of what that looks like. Are you stuck in the hook? Oh my God, he's stuck in the hook. Oh. Can we sabo the hook? What if we sabo the hook? Nope. You sabo the hook, it don't matter. They're not getting out. They're stuck there forever. They have to bleed out. They have to bleed to death. That's it. No way out of that one. Alright, so that's what that looked like. If you had never experienced it before, that's how that came about and how you would get stuck in the hook. I don't know if I've ever been stuck in the hook. I've seen it happen 3 times, but only to other people. No, I did get stuck in the hook one time during a lag game. Yeah, that's not true. Got stuck in the hook one time during a lag game. So it's happened to me 4 times. Three times I saw it happen to someone else, and 1 time it happened to me. All right, what's next? Oh, I do have one more note about the Franklin's Demise. You should be aware that this Franklin's Demise can mess up your white wards. If you're bringing, like, an item that's really important to you and you don't want to lose it, so you put a white ward on it so that upon your death you get to retain the item. If the item isn't in your hand when you die, the white ward doesn't take effect. So if, say, you have a purple flashlight with a white ward on it, and it gets smacked out of your hand and you die, white ward isn't going to save the item. They said that that's the way the game is designed. You have to be in possession of the item at the time you die for the white ward to take effect. I know this firsthand. I had a game where I brought a skeleton key in with a white ward and a weaved ring because I wanted to keep it, whether I died or whether I used the key, but it was smacked out of my hands with Franklin's Demise, and ultimately what wound up happening was another survivor in the game picked up the key, and they died, and they got to keep my item because the white ward was attached to the key when it was in their hand when they died. So be aware that this white ward isn't going to save you automatically. You have to be in possession of the item. So there you go. Okay, there was also a question about whether or not killers are going to get any cosmetic love. Are we going to get any extra skins for the killers? So they did say, yeah, they have some things planned. They didn't show us anything. But my personal idea, and I love this, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, is for Leatherface, if we had a Kiss the Cook version of his apron. I just think that would be hilarious to have. He's got the yellow apron already. All you have to do is put the logo on there, the Kiss the Cook. Come try my chili recipe. Barbecue and chili, baby. Anyway, that was one of the first things I thought of when I first saw his yellow apron. I'm like, can we please have this as a cosmetic for Leatherface? I just think it would be funny. But we do have new cosmetics coming down the pipe. Probably going to be for sale. Probably like a Bloodstained Sack 2 kind of a thing. But hey man, I'm going to be in line first day to buy that stuff to support the game. Okay, another thing they talked about in the game was how there isn't really an incentive for people to prestige other than clothes. So they said that some people might be fearful to prestige their characters, which I can understand that because, like, you know, I'm pushing my players around. And when I prestiged Ace, and I went through his blood web, I haven't had Borrowed Time show up. when I went to Prestige 3. All my other iterations of Ace, Ace Regular, Ace Prestige 1, Ace Prestige 2, I always had Borrowed Time show up on my blood web, so I was used to having Ace with Borrowed Time. So while I do have, you know, all of these great bloody clothes, I don't really have him set up the way that I would like as far as my perks go. I'm used to having Borrowed Time with Ace, and I don't, so I've had to get used to not having him with Borrowed Time now that we're playing him as Prestige 3. So they're saying, are the bloody clothes enough of an incentive? Like, if you have your character where you want them, is it really enough for you to jeopardize not getting the perk structure that you enjoy on that character just for some bloody clothes? So they talked about adding incentives to make it more attractive for people to prestige their characters. What that means, what they're going to give us, I don't know. Then the other thing they talked about, let's see, my killers are so underpowered. Who's my most powerful killer? My son used to play Hag a lot, so I have a lot of stuff on Hag, I guess. The other thing they talked about is the economics of the game. Now, when you're a survivor, you can, you know, use your purple flashlight or your gray toolbox down to that little nub, and then if you leave the game with it, you get to keep it. But the killers don't really have that benefit. They don't have, you know, if I use this Mori, I don't get to keep it. Any of my add-ons that I'm going to bring, I don't get to keep them. They're spent. So they talked about the imbalance in the game where killers use add-ons and then they don't get them back. There's no way of them using only part of an add-on and then getting to keep it at the end of the game. So they talked about maybe finding a way of allowing killers to keep some of their more precious add-ons. Finding a way. So I don't know what that would be. If it would be like, hey, you got a 4K, that means you get to keep your add-ons. Would that be really fair? Because if the add-ons are the thing that's helping them reach the 4K, then they could just perpetually get it. So I don't know. They're talking about some kind of a way, like a killer item chest or something like that in game, for them to find some more add-ons, rare add-ons, the same way that survivors can perhaps find, you know, a great item in a chest and take that out with them. Maybe somehow killers can find add-ons and take those out with them. It's in infancy. They're just talking about how the economics of the game are imbalanced, that the killers have to continuously spend to get to replenish add-ons in the blood web, while survivors can have a tricked out item with great add-ons and they get to keep those add-ons and the item. So we'll see what comes of that. So then they talked about this new badge system that's coming in after the Halloween event. They're going to have the Wraith Cube with all of the Wraith buffs, and this badge system, which they've renamed the Emblem system, which is going to change all the scoring events for survivors, similar to how the killers have the Victory Cube, which is also getting tweaked. Basically, it's going to change the way that survivors pip. It isn't just going to be off of points, and I welcome that. We're going to see. They want to redo the whole ranks, but the whole ranking system, they want to redo it. But first, they have to change the way we score before they can change ranks. So they're going to bring this badge system. I would expect that to come around sometime in November. And yeah, we'll see how ranks resettle after that. So after that, they brought in a third person to talk about camping and how it really isn't in your best interest to camp. And they showed all these statistics. I'm going to put the statistics up here, and you can freeze the video if you want to analyze these graphs for yourself. But to me, it was all just like a gentle letdown for face campers, because face camping's going to go bye-bye. And I'll show you why here in a second. So this first one shows you how likely survivors were to die if they were face camped. Like, oh my gosh, on my second hook, I was 95% likely to die when face camp. No kidding. Those are all distances the killer was from the hook and what was most likely to happen in those events. And then this one here was saying, okay, if you face camp, you're going to get a quarter more of a kill than you would in an average game. But at the same time, you were going to score fewer points than average. This showed that you were going to score 4,500 fewer points than an average game for blood points if you face camped. While if you used a mix of strategies here on the right-hand side, you were going to get like 6,000 more blood points than average. And then again, we go back here to, it's what Cream is. The survivor was rescued. The survivor was rescued, but you captured another survivor. The survivor was sacrificed, or you sacrificed a survivor and captured another survivor. So you can analyze this. It's all, they have the meters, hard camping, soft camping, hard and soft camping. If you're wandering, no camping at all. It says if you use a mix of strategies, you're going to get 4/10 of a kill more than average, rather than just hard face camping all the time. Basically, it's trying to encourage killers to move about and don't face camp anymore. And, I mean, you're going to have to consider changing your strategy anyway, because face camping's going bye-bye, because they showed us a video of how, on their version of the game, the hooks are pivoting now, and you can unhook from all angles, so you can't face camp anymore. And let's see if I'm all geared up to show you that right now or not. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so I'll show you the video that they showed us of... Oh, let me turn... I guess I don't have to. Show you the video of unhooking at all angles.
There you go. So this is a face camper.
So you see the Nia just turns David's body, and the hook turns with him, and unhook at this angle. And you can still pull the survivor off of the unhook, but like this Wraith would have to come get behind Nia to yank her off the unhooking. So it's going to be hard to yank people off unhook. You have to get right behind them. So that's changing.
It seems to be working.
But nobody's going to be able to face camp and keep you from getting in there anymore. I even heard that there was talk that you'd be able to unhook from behind the hook, but they don't really show that here. So anyway, that's coming to the game. Get ready for it. I love it. Rest in peace, face campers. Not that I get face camped a lot, but I have seen other people get face camped. I try and squeeze in there, drop an item to squeeze in there, and some killers are just adamant that they want this one person to die because they're teabagging or looping or whatever it is, and they really don't want them saved. So everybody should be able to be savable from this point on. All right. So, no more face camping. Okay, probably one of the biggest announcements that they made. They said that there's going to be a Halloween event coming, and it's going to be a week long, an extra blood point event. So it's going to be from October 26th until November the 1st. And it's going to be a multiplier event. Don't know if it's going to be double blood points, triple blood points, quadruple blood points. Who knows? We'll find out when it gets here. There won't be a goal. It won't be something that we have to try. There's no challenge. Just going to be a chill, relax, and enjoy your extra blood points for the week event. And they also said that before the event happens, there will be an update that is going to have what they called atmospheric changes. So I don't know if there's going to be extra pumpkins on every porch in Haddonfield or bats on the moon. Who knows what it means. Something eerie. I believe last year they rolled out the glowing eyes for all the killers for Halloween. So they said it's going to be some cool stuff. Atmospheric changes to killers, maps, survivors. Don't know. Something's coming with a Halloween theme to it. So that's going to be cool. Do I have any more notes on that? Nope. Okay, I think that about covers it for the dev stream this week. They ended it with Matthew saying, I wanted to show you this one thing, but I didn't get the call to give me permission to do it. So, I mean, I don't know how to interpret that other than it was going to be a sneak of Freddy. It seems like a given at this point. I know a lot of people are like, well, how do you know? How do you know? How sure are you? I mean, I don't know for sure, but it really seems like Freddy's coming. Everything points to it. The guy who edits the wiki got so tired of the back and forth with people adding it and erasing it that he locked it with Freddy in place that said there's a mountain of evidence and I'm locking the wiki because I'm tired of you guys changing it back and forth, and I'm leaving it in place until I'm presented with evidence otherwise that he's not coming. So whoever edits the wiki has it on lockdown that he thinks Freddy's coming. And I've said, consider the source. The person who put out the leaks that point to Freddy, last year they did the data mining which revealed what Laurie Strode looked like and what her perks were before the Halloween chapter even came out. So if you consider the source, the Moritz Music person has a pretty good track record of data mining and revealing this info. So it seems about as solid as it can get. I don't know what else to say. But I think Matthew wanted to give us a sneak and legal couldn't. You got to realize these licensed killers, they come up on us almost instantly. I think we had 2 days notice that Michael Myers was coming out last Halloween. Now remember, people are saying, they've lost all the original ideas and they're just doing licensed killer after licensed killer. I can understand how that feels that way for people on console, because you just got Michael Myers. But you have to remember, we got Michael Myers a year ago. So while it seems like for you, oh my gosh, Michael Myers, Leatherface, and now Freddy, they've lost all originality and they're just going to go licensed killers, I don't feel the same way, because I've had Michael for a year. And to me, Leatherface was kind of a half of a release. It's really a variation on the Hillbilly. I really feel like that one just kind of fell in their lap and they had to pounce on it. It's a half a release in my opinion, if that, because he doesn't have a chapter, he doesn't have a survivor to go with him, he's a standalone killer. To me, it's a half a release. So if we do get Freddy and the Leatherface this year, to me that's like 1.5 chapters, that feature licensed killers. We might not see another licensed killer until next Halloween. I really feel like in the new year we'll return to original killer ideas, and anybody who thinks, this game's just gone licensed and they don't have any ideas anymore, give it time. I think we are going to see some more originals down the road, and there's creative people there. In devs we trust. There's creative people there, and you got to give them credit and give them a chance and just see what happens. And I think you're going to see some more originality. I mean, and you guys feel like, we got Leatherface and Myers and now Freddy on console, but you got to remember, for me, I had Myers for a year and I got Huntress and Doctor. So if it's 2 and 2, I think they're doing a pretty good job so far of keeping that balance of originals and license. And let's face it, Halloween is probably the biggest selling DLC chapter for the game. And if that helps pay people's salaries so that they can create other DLCs, such as the free one like the Huntress or the paid one like the Doctor, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that the Halloween chapter far outsells the combined DLC sales of the Hag chapter, Flesh and Mud, and Spark of Madness with the Doctor. And if that makes them a boatload of cash so they can pay everybody and work on their originals, then it's a win-win. That's my opinion anyway. I enjoy both the originals and the licensed killers. I think they've done a fantastic job keeping the game balanced. And so for those of you who have said, it can't be Freddy because he doesn't talk, on this dev stream they also confirmed that we will never hear a survivor or a killer talk in the game. And again, I believe that's because it's a global game and they don't want to alienate any of their non-English speaking audience. They don't want people who don't speak English to not understand what survivors or killers are saying. So they want to keep everything just in noises and grunts and screams of pain. So that's what I got for you guys this week. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.